More to combat climate change. Will no doubt be interested in this story. It's another hot month around the world. Fox's Evan Brown live in Miami.
Dave, NASA's climate scientists say the month of April was the hottest month of April on record, a full 1.1 degrees Celsius hotter than the average and a quarter degree hotter than the last hottest April record. That's both sea and land temperatures taken around the planet. And what's more, April was the 7th month in a row to set a record high and the 3rd consecutive month this year to set a record by the widest margin. Those scientists say it puts us on track to have the hottest year ever, Dave.
Evan, the Supreme Court has made a ruling on the government's ability to deport or deny re-entry U.S. citizens if they're convicted of some seemingly minor crimes. The justices ruled 5-3 that a man who spent 23 years living in New York as a lawful permanent resident can be barred from re-entering the United States because of a 1999 conviction for attempted arson. There's yet another airbag recall affecting about 500,000 Jeeps.
Fiat Chrysler says airbags in some 2007 to 2016 Jeep Wranglers may not inflate in a crash, saying that excessive exposure to dust and dirt from off-road driving can cause electrical problems in the steering column airbag wiring. And if that happens, the company says Jeep Wrangler owners would see warning lights and should contact their dealer. Fiat Chrysler says it's not aware of any related injuries. The problem was found during a company investigation. In Chicago, Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
There's a sell-off on Wall Street. The Dow is down 182 points. The Nasdaq is off by nearly 50. And the price of oil this morning is also down more than $1, back under $47 a barrel. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
11:20 KPNW wake up call at 8:05. Your news time. Got some clouds to contend with and 60% chance of rain today, 50% tonight. A bit of rain tomorrow with apparently the sunshine making an appearance. Chris Nation along shortly to fill you in on everything else, as if you need anything else. That was perfect right there, wasn't it? 52 degrees currently as we get ready for little ice cream. In fact, a lot of ice cream. Got an Umpqua Ice Cream Social, and someone, a business owner, is going to be the recipient.
Yeah, and a big congratulations going out to Big Daddy Chris. Basically, Big Daddy Graphics was the winner. When did they originally email us? Way back in February. So I keep all of the entries that people send in that have on the subject line, bring us ice cream, Umpqua ice cream, something like that. I have a email file that I keep them in, and I just randomly pick them out. And Chris, back in February, sent us an email that said, hey, bring us ice cream, please. And so he got his wish.
What's the flavor of the month?
Flavor of the month is my favorite of all times, absolutely, Rocky Road.
Oh.
Now, I will say, what makes Umpqua the best Rocky Road is that they actually use real marshmallows in it, not just marshmallowy, swirly crap that's just in there that sort of is like marshmallow but really isn't. Actual marshmallows and real almonds. Real almonds in there. It's and not just a couple of them. It's real Rocky Road ice cream. It is the best. So I'm jazzed about it.
And I know you'll be bringing some in between that visit and your Thirsty Thursday.
Yeah, we'll bring it back. Thirsty Thursday is going to be at Sam's on Franklin Boulevard. You are invited to come out and join us between 4 and 7 o'clock. We want to thank the folks at Widmer, the Widmer brothers, with supplying us with some fine brews. They're going to be out there. We'll have plenty of swag to give away. Last time, we gave away a 50th Super Bowl neon sign.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's like collector's item kind of stuff. Really cool neon sign that we gave away.
You guys give away a lot of neon signs.
Yeah, we gave away 2. I don't know how many this time, but they're the good neon beer signs, not the fakey ones. These are real, and the 50th anniversary.
It's a pretty good giveaway right there.
Super Bowl 50.
If I was to win one of those,
cool.
that would be pretty happy.
Total man cave stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of different things. We're going to get concert tickets, Weird Al tickets, right there. There's the reason to show up. Get your Weird Al ticket.
The memory I have last time we were there, Sam's, that location, Oregon beat Duke that night. So I have good memories all around. Meeting Frank and a bunch of people that we hadn't met before. It was pretty cool. All right, that's happening today. 8:08 coming up. News and Conley on 1120 KPNW.
Think about all the different types of food we have in the U.S. There's Cajun and Tex-Mex, Northwest cuisine, Southern home style, and so on. And each one has a different flair, different staples, and unique dishes. Mexican food is the same way. At Burrito Amigos, you're going to get what's called Baja style. It comes from the northwest corner of Mexico, and a lot of the recipes at Burrito Amigos are family recipes, like the Baja fish tacos with cabbage, white sauce, and real cod. Normally, shrimp burritos at most places are like any other burrito, just with shrimp instead of, say, beef. Well, at Burrito Amigos, their shrimp burritos are also Baja style with the cabbage and the white sauce. You can always taste the difference at Burrito Amigos. And by the way, speaking of Baja style, stop by Burrito Amigos on 24th and Hilliard or on Highway 99 and get coconut shrimp tacos with mango pico de gallo. For the record, yep, tried them, loved them, needed seconds. Always good, always different, always friendly. Burrito Amigos in Eugene and Springfield. I'm Bill London, and I approve this message. Hi, this is Bill London of the Wake Up Call, and it is another Thirsty Thursday. Tonight, we're going to be at Sam's on Franklin Boulevard in Eugene, and we invite you to come on down and enjoy some great Widmer Brothers brews with us, and just have a good evening with some eats and plenty of free prizes, including tickets to go see a variety of different concerts at the Cuthbert Amphitheater, including Weird Al. Come on down and see us 4 to 7 o'clock tonight. It's another Thirsty Thursday. It's going on at Sam's on Franklin, courtesy of Widmer Brothers and KPNW.
Sun Automotive is proud to sponsor the Northwest edition of Lars Larson. Sun Automotive, with locations in Eugene and Springfield, reminds you, stay safe on the road, keep your car well maintained, and don't text and drive. Sun Automotive.
We're all part of your community.
We all play a role in keeping our community safe.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
Local news, local people. Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120. KPNW.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. Featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed, locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. But let's just focus on the bacon burritos. Here's what's going on. The turnout for Oregon's primary election is going to be at least 46%. Oregon Secretary of State Gene Atkins says they're excited over what they're referring to as such a strong number,
which compares very favorably to previous primary elections.
Sort of, unless you're talking about presidential primary years. Now, admittedly, the 2012 turnout in the primary was 39%, but in 2008 it was 58%. In 2004, 46%. In 2000, it was 51%. At best, 46%, if you go back through the years, is merely average. The amount of people registered through Motor Voter only amounted to slightly more than 2%, but Atkins says that's a big number since the program has been up and running only since January.
Wanting to make sure that people know that what they see online or what's being reported now are all unofficial results.
The final certified totals will be on June 16th. Don't expect a huge change. Most of the ballots have already been counted statewide. They're now awaiting ballots to be dropped off in out-of-area ballot boxes and also some absentee ballots. Those particular votes will only change the final tally, really, by fractions of a percentage point. Now, for all the pomp and circumstance surrounding the primary election, about half of Lane County voters chose not to participate. Of the total 220,725 registered voters in Lane, only 118,200 showed up to vote. That's about 53.6% of returned ballots.
Our county, I can speak to, we certainly would have liked to have seen a little bit higher turnout, but we did get a nice response yesterday, and so I think that was really positive. Voters ended up coming out.
at least better than the state average, although Lane County generally does turn out more voters than the state average. Lane County Clerk Cheryl Betchart says the new motor voter law did inflate the list of registered voters, but many of them were unaffiliated and most of them tossed their ballots. Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley says the Democratic Party needs to get rid of superdelegates, and he says there's no reason party leaders should have more say than party members.
If I don't have the ability to influence people through my conversations and my network or what I write or what I say, then shame on me. We don't need extra special voting power.
While Bernie Sanders won Oregon's primary election, Hillary Clinton should still win the state if all of the superdelegates vote for her. Merkley has announced he's using the superdelegate vote, his, for Sanders. A Springfield High School senior is in jail, arrested on allegations that he sent sexually explicit photos of himself to a 14-year-old student. The 18-year-old was arrested at Thurston High School. He faces charges of luring a minor and coercion and was booked into the Lane County Jail. The victim had reported to the school's resource officer that she received several photos from the suspect and that he allegedly tried to persuade her into sending him nude photos. Junction City schools were in lockout Wednesday, and police asked community members to stay away from the campus during the lockout. Worried parents, though, ended up rushing to the school anyway, parking cars along side streets outside the school. Police were on scene after what was being described as a pre-recorded threat that had been phoned into 911 yesterday morning, threatening a shooting at the school. The lockout was lifted around 11:15. Marion County Sheriff's deputies spent much of yesterday searching for a pair of wanted felons in the Jefferson area and believe the men fled to the east. One person was found hiding in a shed and detained. The male is not being charged with the crime but is being questioned by deputies. The sheriff's office does not believe there's any danger to residents there. Bystanders helped save a woman from an attacker in Eugene. The attack happened in a Eugene parking lot near the Rye Restaurant on East 3rd Avenue and Coburg Road. 24-year-old Devin Hogue had been running around the parking lot, swinging his arms and yelling incoherently. When the victim pulled into the parking lot, Hogue apparently, or actually allegedly, began acting aggressively towards her as she tried to exit her car until a man intervened, and Hogue walked away. Then he returned.
But as the female was walking across East 3rd Avenue and toward the Rye Restaurant, Hogue just sprinted toward her, grabbed her hair, and pulled her to the ground and continued assaulting her until she was able to free herself from Hogue with the help of the bystanders.
According to Melinda McLaughlin with the Eugene Police Department, 2 bystanders held him down while he continued to fight and kick until police arrived. He was arrested on 2 counts of second-degree assault. The federal government is changing the rules on overtime. Brad Ford reports it's going to affect many Oregonians and many businesses.
The federal government's raising the level of pay that allows a manager to be exempt from overtime.
This new federal regulation could affect about 46,000 Oregon workers.
Oregon Labor Commissioner Brad Avakian says the rate is increasing from $23,660 a year to $47,476.
This gives a boost to those middle-income families that maybe used to be considered managerial in nature.
The new rule was criticized by small business and nonprofits who say they'll be forced to move people from management to salaried positions. The new rule takes effect December 1st. Brad Ford, KPNW.
It's dead, Jim. The Port of Portland's Terminal 6 has been on life support since last year when shippers Hapag-Lloyd and also Hanjin decided to stop using the formerly busy shipping port. Labor issues caused the pullout. The shippers complained it was taking too long to load and unload ships because of a nearly 3-year local labor dispute between the Longshore and Warehouse Union and ICTC-SI, which is the company that employed them. Well, those labor issues are over now because after this Saturday, there won't be any jobs. Westwood Shipping was the final carrier using Terminal 6. They say they're going to stop using the terminal this weekend. Westwood moved everything from paper to dried fruit to Japan from Terminal 6. No more. Now Oregon producers will have to first pay trucks to ship their products to either Seattle or San Francisco, and then ship them overseas, making the products less cost-effective for overseas buyers and more expensive for the producers. The Oregon Department of Agriculture is setting out
17,000 gypsy moth traps around the state to make sure a spray program this year in North Portland worked. Clint Burfitt says they caught it early.
If we'd have waited for a while, allowed the population to increase, then it becomes a lot harder to eradicate Asian gypsy moth specifically, but also European gypsy moth.
If Asian gypsy moths aren't stopped, their populations can grow out of control and destroy entire forests. The traps are small, triangular-shaped boxes that hang on tree branches. They use the pheromone from female moths to attract males. Well, if you're facing a medical procedure and you want to know what it's going to cost, Brad Ford says Oregon hospitals can help.
If you want to know what a hip replacement or new knee will cost, hospitals will get you an estimate within 3 days. Philip Schmidt with the Oregon Association of Hospitals says there's a new website that'll help you.
Each hospital has a different system for giving it to you, so what we're providing consumers today is information on how to get that cost estimate.
You can access that information at OregonHospitalGuide.org. Schmidt says most other states are not this well organized.
We're out in front of most of the rest of the nation in this regard.
This will help patients who don't have health insurance or have to go out of network for their care. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
Local businesses are coming out in support of a local man in need of a double lung transplant. 56-year-old Eugene resident Lyle Maxon has been dealing with a condition that caused his lung function to slowly decline since the age of 17. In June, he's heading to California to hopefully receive a transplant.
The average double lung transplant costs around $850,000.
Emily Joyner, the director of the National Foundation for Transplants, says although Lyle has insurance to cover some of the costs, he still has plenty of expenses like travel, as well as the cost of copays and co-insurance. One of the bigger challenges is the ongoing price of meds.
It says some patients leave the hospital taking more than 30 pills a day. So their prescription cost can get really, really overwhelming. And that's something that a lot of people don't realize, that's a lifetime expense for these patients.
Lyle is a fighter, though, according to his wife, Jean.
He's fighting for it. He has a good attitude about it, and he has a fighting spirit. So we just want to, ask people to, help him, for him to live.
If you want to contribute to Lyle, whose fundraising goal is $35,000, Hop Valley Brewing Company is going to donate $1 for every pint sold on June 1st from 5 to 8 p.m. to NFT. That's the National Foundation for Transplants. They will make sure the money gets to Lyle. Papa's Pizza in Springfield is also going to donate 50% of all of their sales to the NFT on June 15th. You need to get a flyer, of course, from the Papa's Pizza site. Secure donations can also be made online to transplants.org. All you have to do is select Find an NFT Patient to locate Lyle Maxon. Anglers looking for trout can turn their attention to Oregon's rivers and streams this weekend. It'll be Sunday when many of the state's moving waters open up for fishing for trout, according to Rick Swart of the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife.
It's primarily moving waters that open. A lot of the other waters have already opened, are open all year or open in April. There's a lot of additional smaller streams that will be available starting Sunday.
Take a look at your 2016 Oregon Sport Fishing Regulations for details on which rivers and streams are open. And finally, the way you purchase and register a vehicle is going to change. Brad Ford says a California company has moved into Oregon to launch a nationwide electronic vehicle transactions program.
It's called V2.
V2 as a platform is something that we developed to connect vehicles to government.
V2 President John Brueggemann says the secure paperless system will enable dealers to manage vehicle registration and titling across multiple locations. Financial institutions will be able to securely track title status and listings. Consumers will get faster service with V2 setting out license plates for the DMV.
And so what they're going to start seeing is probably faster delivery of their license plates.
In the coming months, V2 will also support digital documents, allowing online vehicle purchases. Eventually, it'll ensure emissions compliance and streamline reporting of junk and salvage titles. Brad Ford, KPNW.
Let's look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You're up to date from KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
It's as if Steph Curry suddenly realized that the Oklahoma City Thunder actually think they can play with the Golden State Warriors and regaining confidence after winning Game 1, down 2-0. And games would not be a good thing heading back to Oklahoma City. So Curry, as if awaking from a nap, went off for 15 points in under 2 minutes in the middle of the third quarter, putting the defending champs up by 20. Game 2 a throttling by the Warriors, 118-91. New York Knicks have a new coach, and not everybody's on board. He's former Phoenix Suns head coach Jeff Hornacek, who was let go by the Suns about the same time that Phil and the Knicks fired Derek Fisher. Portland assistant Jay Triano will be leaving the Blazers staff to become an assistant on Earl Watson's staff with the Phoenix Suns. Oregon men's golf team coming home. They'll be playing at the National Championship, coming to the Eugene Country Club in a couple of days. They finished second at the regional in Tucson, finishing 17 under, 14 shots behind Stanford. Duckmen will join the Duck women, who will start their title pursuits tomorrow. Oregon State University trying to continue what Scott Rueck has started with the women's basketball program. They showed him the love with an additional 2-year extension that would keep him on the Beaver sideline through 2022. We've talked about the Oregon softball team hosting their regional. OSU is in a regional at Auburn with Auburn, Jacksonville State, and USC Upstate. First postseason activity since 2013 for the softball team. Go Beavers. Wake Up Call Sports on KPNW, brought to you by Max Muscle. Don't get sold. Get educated by a certified nutritionist. I'm Franklin, across from Market of Choice. News time, 8:24.
KPNW weather, brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, we've got isolated showers off and on the radar as a powerful storm system and cold front moved through last night. Otherwise, temps right now are in the upper 40s to low 50s with light winds out of the northwest 5 to 10. This afternoon, the upper level disturbance will continue to push through the area. That means a 70% chance of showers off and on, as well as a chance of isolated thunderstorms late in the afternoon. Mostly cloudy skies look to dominate. And because the cold front is so strong, highs will be limited to the mid-50s to a couple of low 60s out there. Big changes from the last few days where temps were in the upper 70s to low 80s, so be prepared for that. This wet weather looks to continue for several days as the storm system looks to stall over the Pacific Northwest, continuously ushering in cold air and keeping the temps in the 50s to the low 60s. It's here to stay. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day and you can stay dry.
Ramjack leads the way in foundation repair. Protect your investment. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com. Check out our exceptional online reviews, then choose Ramjack.
CCB 146906.
I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Chris with Home Comfort. When we say the one to call,
the one means no matter what the problem.
From security lighting, generator systems, panel changeouts, service upgrades, with technicians available 24/7.
Or HVAC, from routine cleanings to breakdowns. Home Comfort's locally supported by Mitsubishi Electric. So their Mitsubishi Electric factory-trained technicians will ready your house for any season.
Make one call to 541-345-2838.
Home Comfort, the one to call.
You are a business owner.
I am a business owner.
You want to grow.
That's true. I do want to grow my business.
But you need help.
Especially with how I'm going to grow my business.
So you call U.S. Bank.
Good idea. They'll know how.
Our custom solutions give you what you need to expand.
That's just what I need to expand.
Add a production line.
Wow. Can you believe that production line?
Give you operating capital.
Can't operate without operating capital.
And help your business grow even more.
I think I'm going to need a bigger office.
With a business banker there by your side every step of the way.
Maybe I should start another business.
Visit your local U.S. Bank branch or usbank.com/quickloan today. U.S. Bank, the power of possible. Equal housing lender. Credit products offered by U.S. Bank National Association and are subject to normal credit approval and program guidelines. See your banker for details. Deposit products offered by U.S. Bank National Association, member FDIC.
Where's your finish line? Set a goal, make a plan, get results. Max Muscle offers customized nutrition plans by a certified nutritionist. Learn what and how much food to eat, when to eat, and how it relates to your body. Stop into Max Muscle today, Franklin Boulevard, across from the Market of Choice.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in Eugene?
If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Eugene area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Eugene is a perfect market for my system, and next week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, call 1-800-339-3418. Seating is extremely limited. Call in the next 10 minutes and you'll also reserve a free copy of Than's Money for Deals Guide. That's 1-800-339-3418. That's 1-800-339-3418.
Broadcasting for the betterment of Western Oregon. Yeah, at least that's what we tell the FCC. It's the Wake Up Call coming at you on 1120 KPNW.
News Radio 1120 KPNW. Oh, look who's here on a Thursday, no less. It's none other than Gary Connolly, the president of Connolly Capital. You can call him the Prez, or you can just call him Uncle Gary, or you can just call him Hey, you. He joins us once again on the Wake Up Call. Hey. You. Welcome back.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, we missed you last week.
All right. Well, that's good.
Yeah. Just let you know, we missed you last week.
Okay.
All right, moving on to other things.
I would much rather have been here than where I was.
Can you let us know where you were? Were you in some super secret top negotiations with somebody?
No, I was sitting in a bunch of very dull meetings that you have to have for compliance in order to keep some of my licenses.
Are they actually meetings that are needed, or are they more like meetings that keep somebody else employed and looking like they're relevant?
Well, you never come away empty-handed, okay? But if you get 30 seconds out of something that lasted 2 days, or 2 small ideas out of something that lasted 2 days, sometimes that's worthwhile and sometimes it isn't. I guess I could argue persuasively both ways that they're either needed or not needed. Everybody else needs them, I don't.
Oh, okay.
How's that?
Got it. Well, we decided this morning that we were going to talk a little bit about trade. And it's kind of interesting. You brought a chart in, and I don't know that we want to start here. And what's fascinating about it, it has to do with, in particular, trade as in exports of goods and services, and the percent of GDP for a variety of different countries. And it's broken down into years, 2005, 2010, 2014. But it just goes to show you the amount and the countries that have, I'm going to just say, their eggs in one basket. Whereas the U.S., I mean, you would think, what is the percentage of GDP when it comes to actually export of goods and services here in the U.S.? And really, it's
like 13%.
13%. And you look at something like, say, South Korea, they're looking at over 50%.
Or close to it, anyway.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia is up there at almost 50%. Canada, I was surprised that, I mean, what do they export from Canada? Other than oil, I think
commodities.
Oil.
Yeah, commodities.
You know, oil.
Oil, timber, minerals, yeah.
But,
yeah, it's a commodity exporter.
So, anyway, I guess we can start there.
Yeah, let's start just one step before that, and let's just talk about trade and what is trade, which is just the exchange of goods and services.
All right, thanks for coming.
So, yeah, all done. So, let's say that you wanted a pizza. Okay, so a pizza is a good, and if you have something to trade to the pizza place, let's say Papa's, since that's a local outfit, then you could get a pizza. And if you don't have something that the owners of Papa's happen to want for a pizza, then you give them money, okay, which you got for whatever it is that you do. So the money in this case is a medium of exchange. So there's been a lot of talk now about free trade, meaning trade back and forth anywhere, and free trade agreements like NAFTA is the classic one. So here's the way that would look. Let's say that Papa's could only sell pizza without a tariff or a tax within a 3-block radius of the store.
Okay.
Okay, and so
I'm thinking the one they have on Coburg Road.
Yeah, but anywhere, there's another one on Chambers and whatnot. So if you want your pizza delivered, then you've crossed over the 3-block line, and now Papa's becomes an exporter. Okay, and if there's no tax or no tariff to cross outside of their 3-block radius territory, then that's free trade.
Don't give the city of Eugene any ideas.
No, if there's if there were a tariff or a tax, if they crossed over that to deliver your pizza, then that would be trade that's not free. And of course, you would be passed, the tax would be passed on to you, and your pizza would cost more. And you might decide that instead of a Papa's pizza, you wanted one that was from another store that was within your 3-block range. So Papa's and everybody else would sell a lot less pizza, and essentially what they would be is protected from competition.
What about the pizza parlor that makes some sort of crony capitalist deal with the city lords, and they get, like, say, a 6 or a 10 acre or a 10-block radius, or maybe even 100?
Well, that would just be a bigger country, necessarily. I mean, thinking about the 3-block radius as a country. Yeah, that would be gerrymandering, right? Or somebody.
Yeah, Domino's.
Yeah, or whomever. Yeah, some much larger company. So, but that's it. I mean, the trade is essentially the exchange of money or services for the pizza, and the difference between free trade and not free trade is whether there's an export tariff or not.
Okay.
So, exporters, in particular, when we start out talking about these countries,
so that would be Papa's Pizza again.
Yeah, or the U.S. or Germany or Russia or Saudi Arabia or South Korea or whomever. Exporters are dependent on their customers, okay? And they're also dependent on the prices, which have to do with tariffs or not tariffs. If you've got tariffs or taxes, what you wind up doing is shrinking the amount of trade. You'd shrink the amount of pizzas that were sold, period. Because, maybe you don't want a pizza that's inside your 3-block radius, so, you stay home and open a can of beans instead. So, hard to imagine, but you might if the taxes were high enough. So, the problem that we're having right now worldwide is that the amount of trade is slowing down, and that's why the world economy is slowing down. We're importing less. We are less of a hostage to those we sell to because it's only 13% of our gross national product. But if you take somebody like South Korea or Saudi Arabia or China, they're very much hostage to their customers, or very much dependent on their customers for the amount of economic activity that happens inside their country. And the reason that that's important is because the amount of economic activity is directly related to the amount of employment that there is. And if you looked at a chart of, let's say, the Eurozone and the different unemployment rates, they range all the way from about 4% in Germany to 25% in Greece, 20% in Spain. And if you have a populace, particularly in a place like China, for example, or Saudi Arabia, that becomes unemployed, then you've got real social and political problems because you've got a lot of unrest. So the amount of economic activity out there and the amount of trade is very, very important, especially to the exporters.
Right. So what are the things then that contribute to something like this where you have a global slowdown in trade? Is it the countries are producing more themselves and selling it within the country? Or is it just that the folks that live in those particular countries, for whatever reason, have decided they just don't need the stuff that would be imported?
Well, they don't need the stuff, or they don't want the stuff that would be imported anymore. And part of that has to do with the level of debt that they have incurred and the level of savings. So if you go back to before the meltdown, people were borrowing like crazy. Personal balance sheets in this country got way out of whack. They had 130% debt, relative to their disposable income, where normal over time has been about 70. So they decided that they would save more and pay down debt, which means they have less to spend, or they're going to spend less. And so there are less imports that get purchased. There's less of everything that gets purchased. And so the real thing that has caused the slowdown in a lot of ways is too much debt, which is essentially bringing demand from the future to now. And eventually you get out to the future and you wind up paying for that with a slower economy, more unemployment, et cetera, et cetera.
Gary Conley joining us on the Wake Up Call. All right, so all things said then, what is the nugget? What's the takeaway?
Well, the takeaway is that regardless of what you hear politically, in the long run, the freer trade is, at least in a macro sense, a larger sense, the better economy we're going to have and the better off everybody is going to be. If we go back to a situation like we had in the 30s, where we had a lot of tariffs and trade slowed way, way down, then that's going to impact the economy, and it not only worldwide, but here too, it's going to impact everybody. So in general, it would be my contention that from an economic standpoint or macroeconomic standpoint, that the freer trade is, the better off people are. And you can go back and think about the pizzas.
All right, and that leads us to today's vocabulary word. Actually, it's a pair of words. So along these lines, we've been talking about free trade. What exactly is fair trade? And if you go to Trader Joe's, you buy, for instance, coffee. Coffee is the one that generally has the stamp of fair trade. But a variety of other products, you will see this fair trade stamp, or you'll hear it mentioned, a fair trade product. What is fair trade?
Okay, fair trade doesn't really have anything to do with macroeconomics. Fair trade is a social movement, and the stated goal is to help the producers, typically in developing countries, achieve better conditions and to promote sustainability. That's a Wikipedia definition. It typically is confined to things like coffee, cocoa, sometimes wine, chocolate, fruit, flowers, etc., where you've got a bunch of small producers in third world countries that we're importing things from. Part of the problem with fair trade is there have been some critical studies, one that was published in 2015 in the MIT press, that suggests that there is very little, if any, impact or improvement for the producers themselves, partly because there are too many certificates. So if you take coffee, for example, which most of comes from small producers, you've got a lot of certificates for fair traded coffee. Some of it goes to Trader Joe's, some of it goes to Starbucks, et cetera, et cetera. But most of what's certified really doesn't go through a fair trade channel, which costs more. So people who buy fair traded goods believe that they are doing something socially responsible or some social benefit, and they're willing to pay more for the product on that basis. The problem is it's a lot like organic food or free-range chicken and so on and so forth. And that is that it's pretty hard to understand what's really going on there. If you looked at the amount of fair traded, we're talking about food, of all of the food that's sold in the United States, it's 1/100%. Okay, so a lot of what you're doing, I think, when you buy fair traded stuff is you're really making yourself feel good. And that's okay as long as you realize that's what you're doing, because it would appear that you're not necessarily doing, accomplishing the social goals.
Well, what is it supposed to do? I mean, if you're paying more for this, is the assumption that this extra money that you're paying is going to this small producer in Colombia that
Exactly.
to Juan Valdez, who's picking the coffee beans. I mean,
Yeah.
is that the idea that they're supposed to be getting paid more?
Yeah, that's the presumption,
Okay,
and that the practices in the coffee plantations would be more environmentally friendly.
Okay, so they're not spraying them with something that is going to cause cancer in Juan Valdez and his family when they pick said coffee beans.
Yeah, 2,4,5-T, for example, which has
Okay.
been outlawed, but
All right. So then, if the money is not going to Juan, who is it going to? This extra money that I'm paying Starbucks for my latte, I mean, where is that extra money going? Is Starbucks just keeping it and saying that it's going to Juan, or is it going somewhere down the line to somebody that's just saying, "Oh, we're keeping this because we have administrative costs"?
I have absolutely no idea. It's probably all of the above, very diffuse and writ large.
All right.
And it's not much different it's not much different than eggs, for example, or chickens. You got free-range chickens, but actually, and I don't remember what they are, but you've got about 5 divisions in there, and you think of a free-range chicken as, running around out in the pasture.
Yeah.
But that's not really the case. It just means they have to have so many square feet in their cage. The real free-range eggs, I think, are called pasture eggs, and those chickens actually are running around. So if you're paying more for something that's fair traded or some various type of product, particularly if you don't think it's all that much better, if it's better, that's something else again, then you need to really understand how all that works.
All right. Gary Conley of Conley Capital on the Wake Up Call. We'll see you next Thursday.
You shall.
All right. Take care. It is News Radio 1120 KPNW.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Fears of a coming Fed rate hike have Wall Street unnerved. The Dow down 187 points, the Nasdaq down 54, and the S&P down 20 after Fed minutes revealed policymakers are thinking about making a move on interest rates in June. After a rash of downbeat earnings reports from retailers, there are a couple of exceptions. Walmart shares are rising by the most in 7 years after it said same-store sales rose in the first quarter. Walmart shares are up 9%. And Urban Outfitters is also reporting a comp sales gain when a slight dip had been expected. Shares are jumping 11%. The Securities and Exchange Commission says Phil Mickelson made almost $1 million from an insider tip the former chairman of dairy giant Dean Foods gave to sports gambler Billy Walters. The SEC complaint says Mickelson is not accused of a crime. It's after his money. The other 2 men are. I'm Adrienne Mitchell, Bloomberg Radio.
Pacific Continental Bank is proud to call the Eugene-Springfield area home for more than 40 years. As your local banker, partner, and neighbor, we are committed to the health and sustainability of your business and our community. We know it takes more than a loan or deposit to help you succeed. It takes people who know you, your business, and your community. Who says we can't be more than a bank? Pacific Continental Bank, the right bank. Learn more at therightbank.com. Member FDIC.
For the all-new John Deere riding mowers, tractors, and side-by-sides, think Ramsey Weight.
Make tracks to Ramsey Weight for John Deere lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers.
There's nothing like a John Deere Gator utility vehicle. From hardworking and trail-ready to the ultimate in work capability. Get into a Gator now at Ramsey Weight.
Don't just dream about it, wait for it.
Ramsey Weight.
Open Monday through Saturday. Franklin Boulevard, Glenwood. Online at RamseyWeight.com.
Built for business. In business, time is money. And business money is also money. No wonder nearly 1,000 businesses choose Comcast Business Internet over DSL from the phone company every single day. Not only is it up to 5 times faster, it's actually a better value when you go with the fastest plan. So take a minute out of your busy schedule and call Comcast Business. It will be well worth your time and your money. Switch to Comcast Business Internet. Then add voice and TV for just $34.90 a month. And ask about our 2-year price guarantee. Call 800-501-6000 or visit ComcastBusiness.com. Comcast Business. Built for business.
Offer ends 5/31/16. Restrictions apply. Limited to 1 voice line and private view TV for new customers. 2-year contract required.
Requires Comcast Business Internet and an additional monthly charge. Equipment taxes and fees, including broadcast TV fee extra. Savings claim based on cost per megabits per second. Compares Comcast 100 megabits per second and 20 megabits per second DSL downloads.
Today's forecast for the inside of your vehicle, sponsored by WeatherTech. A 90% chance of nacho cheese storms this afternoon, moving in from a drive-through worker answering a phone while serving you, leading to a real messy day. For the weekend, conditions are perfect for a sandstorm developing, caused by a day at the beach, with flip-flops and towels contributing there. For folks living with an SUV, watch out for a big mess in the back developing later from a bag of mulch and compost. Conditions are ripe.
Spills, mud, dirt, and sand can ruin the floor of your car, truck, or SUV. The best way to protect your vehicle's floor is with WeatherTech floor liners and cargo liners. Made of the highest quality materials and laser measured, WeatherTech floor liners are specifically designed for your vehicle. And they're made in America. Protect yourself from the elements inside your vehicle. Order yours today at WeatherTech.com or call 1-800-CarMats. WeatherTech. Complete protection, completely American made.
I'm going to be the first person to say that I wish I was on the Tempur-Pedic right now, snoozing. Today just feels like one of those days where I need more Tempur-Pedic time, more quality home time with the Tempur-Pedic. Just lying there.
Some bonding?
Yeah, some bonding. Actually, more kind of an unconscious bonding. And I mean that in several different ways. Anyway, you can get your very own Tempur-Pedic, be it the Tempur-Pedic HD or even Stearns & Foster, Posturepedic, or Sealy. And you're going to get a great price on it if you go to Sleep Train. Cool thing about Sleep Train, and I love the idea, is that if you buy a mattress today, they're going to guarantee you they're going to beat anybody's price by 5%. But they're not just going to guarantee it today when you buy it. 50 days from now, you see your mattress on sale somewhere else and is cheaper. You go to Sleep Train and say, you know what, they've got it cheaper. And they're going to, beat their price by 5%. It's Sleep Train. Albany, Corvallis, Eugene, and Springfield. Tell them that Bill and Rob from the Wake Up Call sent you, if you're not ashamed.
Give us 15 minutes. We'll give you something to talk about at work. The Wake Up Call with Holloway in London on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
7:15 in the morning when a young woman came to us for help.
Good morning, madam. My name is Sherlock Holmes. This is my intimate friend and associate, Dr. Watson.
My name is Helen Stoner.
Pray, proceed with your statement.
I couldn't sleep that night. Suddenly I heard Julia scream.
You don't say.
My sister was standing in her open doorway, her face blanched with terror, her hands groping for help. I threw my arms around her, but at that moment her knees buckled and she fell to the ground. She writhed in terrible pain, and then she shrieked, "Oh my God, Helen! It was the band! It was the speckled band!"
A little from Radio Redux's radio days. Fred Crafts, the creator, the director, the man, the myth behind everything that is Radio Redux, joining us in studio. Fred, welcome back.
Good morning. Thank you.
Great to have you. Out of curiosity,
yes,
and I know we've talked about it, but we always, our 15 listeners get distracted, and so they need to be, maybe updated.
All right.
When you came up with the idea, what was going through your head as far as doing this and doing it on a regular basis?
Well, the golden age of radio was a great time for very dramatic kind of storytelling that we've kind of lost over the years. Radio storytelling sort of went out of style in the 1960s when television took over and could present it in a way better, at least more visual, and so all the radio stars moved to TV. Well, so we're trying to preserve that, and it is a wonderful, entertaining medium. It's a medium that we don't get to do very much anymore, which is to use our imagination. So we give you the sounds, the voices, the sound effects, the music, and you can kind of paint the picture in your mind of what's going on. So that was what happened in the golden age of radio, so we are reviving that. Besides, it's a lot of fun. It's great entertainment.
And your list of cast members is growing it seems like every production I look and there's more people involved.
Well, that's very true, and we like to have fresh faces as well as our repertory company, and so in this show we have a couple of people that are returning to us who haven't been with us for a couple of years, and that's really, really nice, and they add wonderful colors to what we're doing.
If you have somebody who is an actor, a thespian for community theater, or is on stage performing, are they necessarily going to make for a great voice actor?
Not necessarily, no. Voice actors were, I think, a very special kind of people. They all had very unusual voices, very distinctive voices, and they could really know how to take the words that are on a page and to lift them off the page and really deliver them. So some people who are good actors just aren't really very good with their voices that way. So it's not about a lot of facial movement and a lot of hand jive and all that sort of thing. It's about what you can do with your voice. So I think of people like Parley Bear, who made wonderful career back in the background with his voice, very distinctive voice. We heard him a lot on Gunsmoke. Or John Dehner, who had a voice that was very distinctive in a sort of a deep, resonant sort of way, but he could play all kinds of characters with that. So being flexible like that is what we need.
What's coming up Friday and Sunday of this weekend?
We're going to play a tribute to the detectives of the noir era. A bunch of these guys will be doing some Sherlock Holmes. That's how we're going to start our show, and that's the little clip you heard a moment ago. Sherlock Holmes, The Adventure of the Speckled Band. Arthur Conan Doyle said that was his favorite of all of the Sherlock Holmes stories, so we're going to give that one to you. And then we'll do, after intermission, Nick Carter, Master Detective. It's called The Glass Coffin. What we're doing is advancing through time. We're starting back in the 30s, going into the 40s, and then up into the 50s. And then we'll do a little segment from The Adventures of Sam Spade. Sam Spade, one of the great radio detectives coming out of the Maltese Falcon. And it's called The Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail Caper. And then we'll do something from the 50s, which is Dragnet, the Copper Clapper Caper, which was a routine that Jack Webb did with Johnny Carson on The Tonight Show in 1968. And then we have a surprise at the very end that we're going to do, which is also in the detective era. And so we'll be doing that one to close it out. So we go through time, and we also loosen up. We start quite seriously with Sherlock Holmes, get a little looser, and we end up with mayhem at the end.
You could have done a little bit of Stan Freberg, in there. What was it? Was it something in the Dragon?
Yeah, St. George.
St. George and the Dragon, which was a takeoff of Dragnet.
That's right. Well, one takeoff, I guess, is enough for this show, but we'll save it for another time for you.
St. George and the Dragon.
Do you guys do do you always do the pre-talk, the pre-chat?
Yes, we do. We do a couple of things. We start 45 minutes before our show. We have Patrick Lucanio, who is a very much of a radio, television, movie expert who comes and gives a free conversation about what we're doing that night. So he'll give you great background. That's about a half hour, which leaves you still 15 minutes to get into our show. So 6:45 Friday and 1:15 on Sunday for those. And they're free, and they are in the Jacobs Community Room at the Holt Center for the Performing Arts. And it's a great way to learn about what radio was like back in the day. And he does an illustrated lecture, and he's a lot of fun, lots of jokes and so forth. So it's great entertainment, but it's great background. Because, as I said earlier, we are a historical preservation outfit, so we want to give out a lot of information about what we're doing and why we're doing it.
What do you, as the director, what do you think about kids coming?
What do I think about?
Children coming.
Oh, kids coming. Yes,
yeah.
Yes, indeed. Well, we'd love to have children there. If we think, if the parents think they are of an age to be there, to understand what we're doing.
Right.
I mean, a show like we did of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, that certainly was a show they could track very easily. Could they track this one? I think they'd have a good time with it, particularly maybe an older child would have. We'd love to have young audiences. That's the future for radio, is to have young audiences. So what young people think about radio, I think, is far different than what, say, I think about it, or maybe what you think of radio. They think of it maybe more coming off of their cell phone or their iPod or something like that, just streaming music or talk. They don't think of it in terms of these programs that we're doing, and I think it's a great way to engage their imagination. It's like reading a book.
They don't think of it as being a show.
No. It's an entertainment. It's something they carry around to see it happening. We're very transparent on our stage. We show everything. We show all the sound effects, how they're made.
Oh, my.
You see the actors talking to each other. You see them doing the whole thing. It's all right out there, which I think is very entertaining. So we have live music, live sound effects, a lot of things for kids to see.
Okay, if people want to get tickets, what's the best way to do that?
Well, the best way is to go to the Holt Center box office, either in person or online or on the telephone, and get them directly from them. And their phone number is 541-682-5000. Another way to get them is to go to our website, which is radioreduxusa.com, and you can order directly online there.
Should have asked you on the air, because now we're going to throw you under the bus if you say no. Can we give a pair away to a lucky listener?
We certainly can for Friday night.
Okay, opening night.
I was kind of hoping you'd say no, just to put him on the spot. Anyway, no, if you have to be magnanimous, I understand.
All right, so if you want to go, we'll take let's do caller 1, 541-485 KPNW. 888 KPNW 888 if you would like to go to Friday night. You got a Friday night and a Sunday matinee.
Yes, 7:30 on Friday night at the Holt Center in the Soaring Theater, and 2 p.m. on Sunday. Sunday's show is almost sold out, and Friday's tickets are going fast.
Better jump on it.
Indeed.
All right. Thank you, Fred.
Thank you.
All right. See you tomorrow. Auction time happening tomorrow at 6:25 right here. Best real estate market in a decade. Less homes for sale, coupled with low interest rates, get you the top dollar for your house in today's market.
So if you have to sell so that you can buy and you don't want to be without a place, you need to call Eric and Jeanette Harpole with Keller Williams Realty. Really, they're expert negotiators. They specialize in working with their clients that need to sell so they can buy their next home. And if you want to sell within your time frame and get the most money possible, these are the folks.
Obviously, you know that not all agents are the same. In fact, Eric, Jeanette, and their team outsell all other agents in Lane County. The reason? Better marketing, top-notch negotiating, their exclusive enhanced listing program, and unlike other agents, they offer flexible commissions. Hey, if you're not happy, fire them. You are in control.
You can get free information about selling your house this spring or summer. Give them a call, 541-286-3030. That's 541-286-3030. Or just go to harpolehomes.com in Lane or Douglas County.
If you're looking for bulk ammo, Tannerite Sports Outlet's overstocked with it. So they're having a 2-day flash sale Friday and Saturday only. 500 round cases of brass case 9mm, just $99.99. 40 Smith & Wesson, $124.99. 45 auto outrageously priced at $139.99. 1,000 rounds of Wolf 7.62 by 39, just $239.99. Looking for 22 ammo? Tannerite Sports Outlet's got it. Plus other steals and deals Friday and Saturday only at the Tannerite Sports Outlet Bulk Ammo Flash Sale. Tannerite Sports Outlet, just off I-5 across from LCC.
Fox News, fair and balanced. We report, you decide. On News Radio 1120 KPNW Eugene Springfield.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady.
I want to express my condolences to Egypt.
Secretary of State John Kerry moments ago also extending sympathies to other countries impacted by the Egypt air crash early today.
The United States is providing assistance in the search effort, and relevant authorities are doing everything they can to try to find out what the facts are.
Egypt's civil aviation chief suspects a possible terror attack. The flight was heading from Paris to Cairo. Fox Radio Simon Owen live in our European bureau.
Lisa, the plane wasn't far from its intended destination when officials say it made a mysterious series of abrupt turns, dropped around 20,000 feet, then vanished from radar screens. This was over the Mediterranean Sea in between Greece and Egypt. Search planes and ships, including a US Navy jet, are scouring the water with reports that aircraft debris has been found. Authorities in both France and Egypt saying it's too early to rule out any explanation. Both countries concede that a terror attack is a possibility. Lisa?
Thanks, Simon. Less serious crimes can be enough to get someone deported. That bottom line from the U.S. Supreme Court. Fox Radio's John Decker live at the White House.
In a 5-3 decision, the Supreme Court ruled that a man who had spent 23 years living in New York as a lawful permanent resident can be barred from re-entering the U.S. because of a previous conviction for attempted arson. George Luna Torres argued that the federal crime of arson is different from the state version because it must involve interstate commerce. But writing for the court, Justice Elena Kagan said that is simply a technical difference. Kagan was joined by Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg and conservative justices Samuel Alito, John Roberts, and Anthony Kennedy. Lisa?
John, the U.S. House just voting to ban flying Confederate flags at federal VA cemeteries. Wall Street is selling off. The Dow's down 160. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Are you living with prostate enlargement? Do you pee more often than you used to? Is there a drop in your romantic life?
you need to call for a free bottle of Super Beta Prostate. With Super Beta Prostate, you'll have less urges to urinate, less waking at night, and an improvement in your romantic life, guaranteed. Try it for free. Pay only shipping and handling. Call 1-800-883-8475. 1-800-883-8475. 1-800-883-8475.
Not available in all states. Introducing the most exciting new franchise opportunity in years. Reese and Irvy's world's first frozen yogurt vending robot. The revolutionary high-tech, first-of-its-kind approach to frozen yogurt franchising. These robots are a huge hit in malls, movie theaters, supermarkets, practically anywhere. If you're looking to start your own franchise and be the first in your market to unveil this exciting high-profit kiosk, find out how we can help you secure premium locations. Locations are going fast, so act now. Just go to froyofranchising.com. That's Froyo Franchising.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Deb Carson.
Golf getting a couple of bad stories today. The Scottish golf club Muirfield has been taken off the list to host future British Open tournaments because its 750 all-male membership has voted against admitting women as members. Tournament organizers say moving forward, the Open Championship will not be held at a venue that does not admit women as members. And the Security and Exchange Commission says Phil Mickelson profited from an insider trading scheme. Lefty's not accused of any criminal activity, but the SEC says he received an inside tip to sell stock in Dean Foods. He did so and profited to the tune of $931,000. Mickelson may have to forfeit the, quote, ill-gotten gains, end quote. Last night, the Warriors beat the Thunder 118-91 to even the Western Conference Finals at one game apiece. Jeff Hornacek will be hired as new head coach of the Knicks.
Each franchise independently owned and operated. Offer good on selected Signature Series product at participating franchises only. Some restrictions may apply. Ask for details.
You're going to love this house. It just came on the market. It's gorgeous inside. Here we are.
Oh my gosh, look at this room. The window coverings are stunning. It's straight out of a magazine.
Isn't it incredible? The best part? They didn't even hire a decorator. Budget Blinds did it all.
Budget Blinds?
Yep, Budget Blinds. They'll give you a free in-home consultation, do all the measuring and installation, and give you their no questions asked warranty.
I'll take it.
The house?
No, the number for Budget Blinds.
Right now, Budget Blinds is celebrating our spring style event. Get a rebate up to $250 when you buy select window coverings, including energy-efficient treatments. Lower your energy cost without sacrificing on your home decor. Schedule your free in-home consultation, then qualify for up to a $250 rebate. Call your locally owned Budget Blinds today at 1-800-640-8191. That's 1-800-640-8191. 1-800-640-8191.
Get set to save now at Mid-Valley Tractor, your local Kubota dealer. Take command of your lawn care needs with a new Kubota Commander zero-turn mower. Get commercial-grade performance at a full 4-year factory warranty at a price you can afford. Now during the Get Set to Save sales event, get a special introductory price of $38.99 and 0 down and 0% financing for 36 months. Now through June 30, 2016. Call toll-free 1-800-794-4992 for details about cost and terms. Great prices, great products from people you can trust. Mid-Valley Tractor on Highway 99.
In partnership with Food for Lane County, St. Vincent de Paul distributes more than 15,000 food boxes each year, making us the area's largest distributor of food to our neighbors in need. So when we say at St. Vincent de Paul you can have some fun, save some money, and do something nice for your neighbors, we really mean it. St. Vincent de Paul, serving Lane County since 1954. St. Vincent de Paul, we're in the phone book.
This message is sponsored by St. Vincent de Paul in association with Eugene area radio stations. Ears.
It's 9:06 and time for Rush. Rush Limbaugh on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
It's predictable. It's like clockwork. Here we are obsessing on which bathrooms people identify with on a day-to-day basis. We're wringing our hands over it. We got a 70-year-old Harvard professor gloating over the left's winning the culture war, claiming that the real Nazis today are American conservatives. And American conservatives today need to be treated like the Nazis were treated after we defeated them in World War II. And while all that's going on, we have people wondering whether or not militant Islamists blew up the Egypt airplane and hoping it isn't so that we can just say it was possible airspace violence. Greetings, my friends, and welcome. Rush Limbaugh here behind the golden EIB microphone, not making any of that up. A 70-year-old Harvard professor, a relic from the 1960s, an uber leftist, claims that the culture wars are over, as evidenced by transgender bathrooms, gay marriage, all these other things. Conservatives are the losers. They are the modern equivalent of the Nazis and need to be treated like the Nazis were treated after World War II. I told you, and this guy, part of his attack is against Christianity. That's what determines the conservatism and why they hate it and so forth, as I mentioned yesterday. And then we have Egypt Air, another 66 souls lost. For the longest time, only Trump would call it terrorism. Everybody else was wringing their hands until Egyptian authorities have made it clear that they believe it is terrorism. According to NBC News, authorities are saying there were 3 air marshals on board that Egypt Air flight, which makes this even more disturbing. But for the longest time, no, we can't call it terrorism. No, we can't go. No, we must not be hasty. No, we must not prejudge. No, we must be careful. No, we must be moderate here. When everybody knows these airplanes do not fall out of the sky anymore. Either a pilot takes them down like a suicide mission like they think happened at Malaysian flight, or this, that airplanes just don't fall out of the sky. Both engines don't just quit. When's the last time you've heard of that happening? It just doesn't happen. So, and then there's ISIS. ISIS executes 25 people by dissolving them in nitric acid. UK Daily Mail. ISIS has executed 25 people in Mosul, however you wish to pronounce it, northern Iraq, by lowering them in a vat of nitric acid, according to several local news reports. Keep in mind, according to a Harvard professor, American conservatives are the modern Nazis. The 25 executed by being lowered into a vat of nitric acid been accused of spying on ISIS on behalf of Iraqi government security forces. According to witnesses, the 25 alleged spies had been tied together with a rope and lowered into a large basin containing nitric acid until they were essentially dissolved. And note that nobody on the left will refer to ISIS as the modern equivalent of the Nazis, even though there is a direct link. There is an historical direct link, militant Islam, to Nazism. Folks, a couple things here before we get to the hard news of the day. There's a new poll out, and it finds in the Washington Post, of all places. This is going to devastate the hand-wringers on the left. 9 in 10 Native Americans, that would be Indians for those of you in Rio Linda, 9 in 10 Native Americans say they're not offended by the Washington Redskins name, according to a new Washington Post poll that shows how few ordinary Indians have been persuaded by a national movement to change the football team's moniker. What national movement? I'd submit to you there is no national movement. There's a media narrative, but there is no national movement. When's the last time you ran into anybody in any walk of life, when you're at the mall, when you're at the movies, when you're out to dinner,